let me rope in Major Mohammad Ali Shah. Sir, now, we have been discussing Afghanistan situation currently. We have been discussing who will benefit the most with the current situation, with Taliban taking control. Is it going to be China? Is it going to be Pakistan? Is it going to be Russia? Apart from that, it's also humiliation to, to Indo-Pacific, to the countries, to the countries that are in Central Asia, and also to United States. United States created a monster that it couldn't tame, and now India, Central Asian countries will face the consequences of it. What needs to be done, sir? And what do you think? United States also has an important role to play. However, they are out of the peace deal. Forget the peace deal. In fact, they're just out of the country, leaving it in turmoil. But Taliban taking control was much anticipated. With United States out of picture, West out of picture, what role should India play? Because India also wants to be India is also an emerging leader in Indo-Pacific. China is doing all the dirty games with Taliban. They don't want their BRI, to be halted. Pakistan will definitely, Afghanistan will become a hot breeding ground for all the jihadists. Pakistan will definitely be pushing them to destroy India. What can India do then?
At the moment, a channel of communication is the only way forward. There is no point fighting with them or, telling them anything further, because they have already taken control of the entire Afghanistan. Kabul has fallen, and there are thousands of people stranded at Kabul airport, at the Hamid Karzai airport, and where there are flights with limited number of seats, only hundreds of seats and thousands of travelers. And Taliban has put up that post, security check post, to ensure that no one gets out or gets in. So now, what is the only way forward is to negotiate with them. Now, there have been other countries as well who are also participating, like France, Germany, Netherlands. They've said that they're moving the diplomats from these embassies and bring them to safer areas. So when the whole world is, whoever was there in Afghanistan is stranded, and what should India do apart from the flights which are on standby right now, because we do not know the situation in Afghanistan. It's so volatile, and Taliban is just ruthless. So let's see what way. It's important to get our priorities very clear. We have to get our citizens back to our home first. That is the first thing. It's like, Ananda, I love explaining it with example and analogy so that everyone understands. Our viewers, whoever is not really into following Taliban also understands. So I would say this: supposing some people have been kidnapped and taken hostage, for example, what is the first priority which we should do as a household? We have to get, and the kidnapper says, don't inform the police, don't inform this, so what is the first priority? To get back our near and dear one back home safely. Similarly, that is our first priority right now. And I'm sure we will get them back. In fact, a very good sign. It's anticipated that in the next 48 hours, 2 days, India will get back all its people who are stuck in Afghanistan. That is a process before even US completes the process. But Indians in Afghanistan have to cooperate. They have to go strictly with the government of India advisory. It should not happen second what happened in Libya or Iraq, that, again, the Indians who were stranded there did not take the advisory seriously, and later on they were crying for help. They were eyeing for rescuing. They were literally pleading for help. So that situation should not arise. And this is a time where India and Afghanistan have to cooperate.
But what can international community do at this point? Can Quad do something about it? Because I'm not talking about UN, because UN will debate about it for some time, and then some resolutions, some condemnations will follow, and that's it. That's what's going to happen at max. But can we expect something out of Quad? Can we expect something out of NATO? What can we expect from the international community, or is it just words that are going to follow?
See, I think it's going to be words that are going to be following, because as an international community with regards to NATO or Quad, or say an international community like UN for that matter, or any international community, do you think Taliban is actually going to be listening to them? I really don't. I have my doubts that Taliban will come to terms with any of them. And in this situation, there is just no point in flexing our muscles and trying to show regarding our power to Taliban, because firstly, Taliban is power. They are spineless. Let's accept it. They're only fit for hiding and fighting. They cannot face any military. US, if they want, they can take charge by firing their drones into Afghanistan. That, I think, a psychological warfare over here will play a very, very important part. I'll give you another very small analogy. When in 2002, when the Akshardhan attack took place, a senior of mine from the army who had led the operation, what strategy he followed in pinning down the terrorists was, don't just fire upon them indiscriminately. For a moment, observe silence. Just observe. I'm so sorry about that dog. The moment I said observe silence, he's at barking anyhow. So, observe silence. And when they were silent, that's the time the underground, the militants actually came out to see why they were silent, and that is the time they opened fire and they pinned the militants down. Similarly, a psychological warfare over here will go a long way ahead, and Taliban needs to realize we have to put in the psychological fear into them that, listen, US has not gone completely. If US wants, they can still air bombard you very easily. So that fear has to be gone into Taliban, and that communication has to be open. I think that is the only way forward. Otherwise, regarding the international community, regarding NATO, Quad, because it was NATO's treaty only a few months back, a few days back rather, when US had decided to withdraw and NATO, the US ally of NATO, Turkey, Erdogan had said that we will look after Afghanistan. They were hoping to be invited over, perhaps on bilateral ties, but I don't think that would really work much, and I'm really very concerned, keeping my fingers crossed for the safety and well-being of every single person who is in Afghanistan. For our citizens, yes, and for every single person of every other country as well.
Right, sir. So, do you think that America's geopolitical position, will be damaged somehow, because we are already seeing, Afghanistan nationals are, they have already said that Biden administration betrayed them. Then on the other hand, we just saw UK PM Boris Johnson also mentioning that, he said that the moment of United States started pulling out troops, Taliban, gained control over. Now, do you think that United States geopolitical position will also be hampered somehow, because China will be doing the deals with, they have already started cutting deals with Taliban. So, what do you think about it? Because there is a pivot of the West towards Asia, and in particular Central Asia. With Afghanistan now being captured by Taliban, what happens to United States position geostrategically?
No, you point a very valid point. In fact, America is going to be losing face for two reasons, mainly, per se. Because firstly, it is embarrassing for US, because the moment they withdrew, Taliban took over. They showed their colors within no time. Altogether, it was like US had given Afghanistan on lease. They had taken Afghanistan on lease for 20 years. And the moment they vacated, that's it, boom. Secondly, China, of course, is eyeing Afghanistan with a very close eye. And I think it only strengthens China's position as well. And anything that strengthens China, it works against the US. Now, secondly, when US is going to lose a lot of face over here, and US has not been able to evacuate all the citizens, they are sending 5,000 troops. The operations are still underway. Rescue operations are still underway, which are being hampered by the Taliban actually keeping a picket over there. But US is certainly going to be losing a lot of face and a lot of credibility for that matter, because they could leave from Bagram from the airbase, so they left. So anyhow, so US it's not a good thing for US at all.
Right, sir. So now, if we talk about the United States position, like you said, that United States will bear the consequences. What consequences do you think that the world is going to bear? Because Taliban supports Al Qaeda. Taliban, will make Afghanistan a hot ground of all jihadists. Then we have Pakistan running in. Then China doesn't want Uyghurs, Uyghur militias to to get assistance in Taliban, but Taliban has already assured China that they're not going to support Uyghur militias. Now, what happens to the world? What all countries will be the worst affected, and how will they be affected? And what like I said, that United States made a monster out of them, and now it cannot tame them. What all consequences is the world going to face now?
See, the terrorists are going to be having a field day and they are free to go where they want. The first thing is reportedly what Taliban has done is they released terrorists from ISIS, from Al Qaeda, from Taliban, and now the moment is released there, that's they are out freely, they're roaming around freely, and you can see images floating around on social media where every single person in Afghanistan is holding a weapon and going. So it has really gone. Kabul has fallen, and it's fallen like really badly. It really pains me, it really hurts. Now, Kabul, for that matter, this had to happen ultimately. This was because this was predicted long time earlier, and they say history repeats itself. So certainly, I mean, it is going to be there are going to be tough days ahead. We all have to be cautious. We all have to guard our border. Which countries are going to be affected the most? The neighboring countries. India is going to be for sure, because the effect will, after effect will enter India somewhere. Pakistan will be affected in a way, in a positive way, because Pakistan supports Taliban, Taliban supports Pakistan. Pakistan is a nation which has a concept of a good Taliban and a bad Taliban. Can you believe that? China will be affected again in a good way. Well, Turkey also could be affected in a good way, yes. Now, when you talk about US, they bad for them, good for Russia. So the Middle East, some countries over there, not good for them. So the whole world ultimately is going to be affected by what the unleash of Taliban has been in Afghanistan.
Right, sir. So, United Nations Security Council will also be discussing the Afghanistan crisis today. What do you think is going to happen in that meeting? It's just discussions that, it's just discussions that are going to follow. It's just words that are going to follow. When the military junta took over in Myanmar, it was the same case, right? We were just discussing how UNSC will condemn, will issue a notice, regarding condemnation. Several other leaders will follow the condemnation line, but so far nothing has happened. Are we expecting the same thing out of this discussion today or the subsequent discussions?
See, the US senior diplomat Ross Wilson, the country, now that is not a good sign at all. So whatever discussions happen in the West, I hope they are not just mere discussion and some action is taken. In the year 1999, on 24 December, when a flight of India was hijacked at the Tribhuvan airport, which took off from Nepal, from Kathmandu, and went off to Lahore, went off to Amritsar, thereafter went off to the Middle East, and then came to Kandahar. At that time, India had sent its rescue operations. They had sent their forces, and that time, Mr. Ajit Doval, the current national security advisor, played a key role in identifying the fact that ISI officers were guarding the aircraft. Their military was actually guarding the aircraft. There was Pakistani military involved indirectly in that as well. And they had placed a demand of releasing 3 dreaded terrorists, Maulana Masood being one of them, who shot to fame. And he is, I don't know, I'm ashamed to even call him, give him the title of Maulana for that matter. So now, when such a thing happens, India came forward and they rescued. When the Gulf War happened, India had sent its rescue flights that time. But here the situation is very, very, very tricky. And I really hope and pray that the West, they will work out a solution, and it's not just mere discussion or talks, it's some action as well.
Right, sir, but isn't it true that, all these main players also share an interest while Afghanistan is burning? UNSC and, United Nations is just fiddling with the discussion, with the topic. Tell our viewers about what all interest does these countries actually share. Why is international community not coming together as fast as possible? Why are they not taking immediate measures?
See, everybody at the end of the day have got their vested interest. Let's accept that. It is a fact. Now, firstly, but right now at this point, why are they not coming together? They have their own vested interest, yes. But the first priority that I see right now is safe evacuation of every citizen from each country. And I think India is one nation which is going to come forward and not of this rescuing their own nation, but not their own citizens, but also of citizens of other, on humanitarian grounds as well, of other countries as well. Now, why are these countries not really reacting? Why is the international community not coming together right now? That is one can't really comment. It would be too presumption on my part to actually comment on it. But certainly, vested interest is what I can say. It is certainly everyone has their vested interest, and I really hope and pray that they work out a solution. The sooner, the better.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast and for all the insights.